Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So in today's video I wanted to do something very exciting and something I've never done on this channel. I wanted to do a full face of makeup with drugstore products or just affordable products that all retail for under $20. So I really do think I did pick out a really nice selection for today's video from different brands too. Some of these products I'm really familiar with and I've been using them for years by now, and others have just recently made it into my collection and I'm impressed. So I really thought it would be worth sharing with you guys what some of my all-time favorite affordable products actually are. So in case you do enjoy today's video concept and you want to see more of these types of videos, please don't forget to give this video a like. And in case you are new here or in case you just have not yet, why not also hit the subscribe button and ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. You guys know that is very much appreciated. And please don't forget to check out my description box down below. I'm gonna try and link as many of the products as I can for today's video. Now just know these are affiliate codes, and I also think I do have a couple of discount codes for some of the brands that I'm featuring in today's video. So thank you so much for using those codes, those links. You guys know that means the world to me. But alright, I don't want to make this intro too long because I do have such a great lineup for today's video, and I cannot wait to show you guys how I actually created this beautiful look with these affordable products. So I would say without no further ado, let's just go barefaced and let's kick it off with the very first one. Alright you guys, so I'm basically barefaced right now, so let's actually kick it off with a primer. So this is the NYX Cosmetics Pore Filling Primer, and this retails for $15. So I did pick up this primer quite recently alongside with a couple of other things by NYX. I'm not going to show you everything that I've got by NYX in this video, but I do have two more products by this brand in today's video. But one of my lovely subscribers actually pointed out this primer to me when she saw me using the CoverFX blurring primer in one of my videos, the one that I love so much. And she actually said to me that the NYX Pore Filling Primer would remind her of my CoverFX blurring primer. So I decided to go ahead and pick this one up and give it a go, because also the CoverFX one is quite expensive if you compare it to this primer. And I've got to say, they are quite similar. However, I do feel like this one feels a little bit more silicone-y than my CoverFX one. This is like your traditional pore filling primer. This is going to blur your face, it's going to mattify your face, and you guys know I always really do enjoy primers like that. I personally don't really have a problem with pore filling primers whatsoever. Honestly, I really do enjoy them. Not every pore filling primer that I've tried out is actually good, but this one is really nice. I was really positively surprised when I've tried this out. So honestly, because I thought I liked this primer so much by NYX, I thought, oh, maybe I'm gonna love another primer by them. Like, maybe let's just try out a couple of things by the brand. And then I picked up the NYX Studio Perfect Photo Loving Primer. But this one, honestly, it's too much. This makes every foundation that I lay on top of this primer look like cake face. And it looks like a hydrating primer because this is like a gel primer. So I thought it would be more like a hydrating thing. It's definitely not. It's not for me. I've got to be honest, this is not my thing. But this one is really lovely. I could use this primer all over my face, but usually what I do is actually just apply it where, you know, my skin tends to get a little bit oilier throughout the day, which is basically around here, a little bit on my forehead and on my chin. I mean, you can tell my skin is glowing a little bit. That's basically from my skincare. It's not because my skin is that like shiny in real. It's just because, you know, before I film, I tend to apply my skincare, and what you see is my sunscreen, like really just reflecting. So that is not because my skin is that oily, it's always just my skincare that you are seeing. So here is the texture of the product. It does look a little bit like my CoverFX blurring primer, where it gives you like this sort of wet sand sort of like look. It looks a little bit weird, but it's doing a really great job. So let's just apply it on one side of my face. I've got to say this one feels a little bit more silicone-y than my CoverFX one, but it spreads out beautifully and it really does a great job in, you know, blurring. like really lovely. Also, this does not have any fragrance, just has a bunch of silicones in it. So here is the primer, here's without the primer. I mean, you can see it's a huge difference, and I did not use that much product. But yeah, let's do the rest. I'm also going to apply it on my chin. So this makes my skin like feel super soft and really velvety. It has like this silky feeling to it, you know, and that's because of the silicones basically. But I really do enjoy this. I like what this does to my skin. It also does not feel drying or anything. So in that sense, I do feel like this is a great dupe for my Cover FX primer. And also my Cover FX primer at the moment, it's not available anymore. So I'm so glad that my subscriber pointed this primer out to me. So thank you so much. And I'm really happy with this. It's really nice. And again, thank you so much for recommending this to me. So the primer is applied. So let's actually move on to, I would say, one of my all-time favorite foundations from the drugstore. And that one is the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. And this retails for $10. So this product is definitely not new to me. I've actually been using this product for 2 years by now. When this was released, I actually tried it out and I never thought I would love it that much. And honestly, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that I've never featured this product on my channel. Like, what is wrong with me? I have no idea, but I've been really enjoying this foundation. I've also tried out a couple of things by Catrice, by their Clean ID line. Nothing beats this foundation. This foundation is just top notch. So this foundation actually does come in 20 different shades, and when I picked this one up for the very first time, guess what happened to me? Of course, I did have a shade mismatch in this foundation, but it did not hold me back from actually using this product because it wasn't the worst skin mismatch ever. And I honestly used an entire bottle of this. I'm not sure if you can see this, but this was the shade mismatch, okay? And I loved it that much, I did not even care. And I used it all the way down to here. I don't think this is good anymore. I used this foundation in 2021, in 2022, and I would constantly wear this foundation. I also brought this with me when I went on a holiday, and I loved this. So this is the shade Neutral Hazel, and it was just a little bit too, sort of like almost too olive toned. Like, I felt like this was more of an olive tone than anything, and it looked a little bit strange, but you know, nonetheless I still used it. So I actually did pick up 2 shades that match me, one for the winter time and one for the summertime, because once it's sunny outside, you know, I do tan quite quickly, so I do need a shade a little bit deeper than my winter shade. But I think like for today, although it's quite sunny outside, it's the first week actually that we've got sun outside, I still feel like I can go with my winter shade. So I've got this in the shade Cool Almond, that's actually my winter shade, and Neutral Macchiato. This foundation really could compete with a luxurious sort of formula. It has a really nice coverage, like medium to full. You could definitely build this up. And it has a very nice natural finish. But what I really do enjoy about this foundation is the fact that this wears so well. And honestly, I don't understand how this can be $10. It is fantastic. The ingredients in here are all right, okay, there's just talc and a little bit of synthetic fragrance. I'm not the biggest fan of synthetic fragrance in my foundations. However, this is a fragrance that I really don't mind, and it's also not that strong, so it's not going to linger on your face. Once the foundation is applied, it's kind of like evaporating into thin air, so I don't mind it that much. But I just love this because this feels so luxe. It's so beautiful on the skin. It makes your skin look super refreshed. And also in general, I do prefer something that is more on the satin sort of matte side. But this is a little bit like radiant. It's going to give you like this natural sort of glow from within. It's more on the like natural radiant side than it would be on the satin matte side. It's fantastic, and we're gonna apply it. So I'm gonna clip back my hair and then we'll take a pump out of this beautiful foundation. I'm always shaking this product up though because it's quite runny and liquidy. So I'm gonna be using the shade Cool Almond. I think it's gonna work. And you can see it still has some body to it, but it's gonna run down my finger. So it's not like completely runny or liquidy, but it is still like a little bit creamy and has a body to it, but it's also not like that thick. So a little bit is gonna go a long way. And the scent of this, it's kind of like a refreshing sort of scent. I don't think it's florally. It really does not bother me. The way I like to apply this is actually with a brush. And then sometimes I like to tap it in with a sponge, but let's just use the brush. It's kind of insane how well this coverage is. I would suggest if you don't want that much coverage, maybe just use a little bit less of the product. It just looks so skin-like. It's so natural in terms of finish. I mean, it's definitely gonna give me like a natural radiance. You can see it reflecting a little bit on here. And if I would use a different primer, it would definitely give me a lot more glow. Now, just remember, I did use the NYX Pore Filling Primer, which is a little bit more on the mattifying side. But if I would use like a hydrating primer underneath this, or even like a glowy primer, you would get a lot more glow. But it's still just so like beautiful in terms of radiance and in terms of just how it actually makes my skin look. I think the shade here matches me quite well. I really do enjoy this shade. So let's do the other side of my face as well. It's just beautiful, and also this blends out so nice. Like the way this spreads out with the brush all over my face, luxurious. Okay, I have no other words than describing this foundation as like a really good one. Like this is amazing. And if you want me to do like a ranking video on all of the more affordable slash like drugstore foundations I've tried out over the past year, let me know, because I think this one would rank very high, and I just love it. I really do enjoy this one. So let's actually move on to the concealer. So this is the NYX Cosmetics Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer, and this one retails for $9.50. So this concealer is also a little bit newer to me, but when I tried this one out for the very first time a couple of weeks ago, I was really impressed by this, and I've got to say it's one of the best concealers that I've tried out from the drugstore. I used this on my under eyes, and I don't think I need it anywhere else on my face today, because this Catrice foundation literally covered up pretty much everything. You know, it's just absolutely stunning. I don't feel like I do want to conceal like anything else on my face, just my under eyes. I always kind of leave them like that just because I know I'm going to go in with a concealer. I do think I've got a shade mismatch, kind of a shade mismatch. I think I do need the shade 7, and I have the shade 7.5, and it's called Soft Beige. But this soft beige shade, for some whatever bizarre reason, is very peachy. Now this is very full coverage, and this also does not have any fragrance in it. I don't think so. No, this does not smell like anything. I've got to say, this did not crease on me. It has a really good amount of coverage, and it just looked beautiful throughout the day. I did not experience any like crepiness or any just kind of like cracking or any sort of like creasing with this. It's really nice, and I think it's one of the best concealers that I've ever tried out. So let's actually apply it a little bit, but you can tell it's very peachy. Like, it's almost orange. It's not the best shade, so I might have to pick this up in a different shade, but well, you know, that's what we are going to be dealing with today, is this shade. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of peachiness underneath my eyes, but in general, this is not a perfect shade match. So I'm gonna let this sit for just a little bit, and I'm gonna blend it out with a sponge. This has a lot of coverage, it's easy to blend out, and it just smooths out everything. So this is really lovely for underneath my eyes, and I also do assume it would be a good spot concealer. I just need it in a different shade. We gotta put something on my eyelids and I do want to put on an eye primer. Now, I don't really have anything from the drugstore necessarily, but I do have a very affordable option for you guys. And this is also not new to my channel by any means. So this is from Kaleidos and it's their Tone Activator Eye Primer. I hope this is still gonna give me some product because I'm always using this eye primer. I really do enjoy it. And it retails for like $10 and that is honestly not a lot considering how little you actually need. It's just nice because it almost acts like a concealer and it has so much coverage and it just really smoothens out your eyelids. Okay, so the eye primer is applied. I mean, as you can tell, this has done such an amazing job with just a little bit of the product. So let's actually move on and let's set my face. And I do have such an amazing powder and I recently found this and I'm obsessed with this one. So this one is by Lavera and it's their Invisible Finish Loose Powder and this retails for $12.30. It really just prevents my makeup from breaking up throughout the day. So when I use this powder, I don't find myself in a place where I have to constantly re-powder, retouch, you know. This will just keep my makeup intact throughout the day. And this worked on pretty much every foundation I've tried this on by now. And I tried this with foundations that would usually break up on me, and they did not anymore. The base of this powder is silica, tapioca starch, and rice powder. And I think the combination of those three make this product magical. This is the very first product and also the only product that I've got from them. So I'm pleasantly surprised, I've got to say. It's stunning. The only thing I don't like is the packaging. I have to keep this powder puff on top of the container because it does not come with any locking sift. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but you know, luckily they did put one of these powder puffs in here so that it won't spill everywhere. And honestly, since I've got this, I've been using this constantly. It's just amazing. So let's set one side of my face with this powder, and it also works beautifully for underneath my eyes. It just makes my skin look so perfected. It's really lovely. It's not too much of a difference because, you know, honestly, my base is not that dewy, it's not that shiny, but I bet you can see how well this is blurring, how well this is actually perfecting everything underneath it. It's just insane. It's so good. So let's do the other side as well. Let me know if you actually tried this powder out and if you do enjoy it as much as I do. So my complexion is done now. So I would say let's actually move on to some color products and let's kick it off with the bronzer. So this is by The Balm and it's their Take Home the Bronze bronzer and it retails for $17.50. This is so fantastic. I really do love this bronzer so much. And I do have quite a lot of bronzers by The Balm because they do have more than just one bronzer. But this is definitely my favorite one out of them and I think I've tried them all. I've tried the Bronzilla, I tried this Bahama Mama, whatever it's called. And I also tried their Balm Desert bronzer, but this one is just the best one for my complexion because I do feel like all of the other bronzers are slightly too deep for me. This one does come in 3 different shades, so I do have the lightest shade here. Just look at this packaging also. Like The Balm is like making like this beautiful retro sort of packaging on all of their products. And this is like an Oscar. This is an Oscar bronzer. How cool is that? I've got to say I really do enjoy that. And it's also an anti-orange bronzer. So this is the shade that I've got. It's the lightest shade as I said, but it's like really rosy. It has this beautiful rose undertone and on my skin this looks stunning. Unfortunately, at this point in time, this is sold out on their website. I really hope they are going to bring this product back because it's just amazing. Maybe you're going to be able to find it elsewhere on the internet. So if you have more of like a fair, a light, or even a light to medium complexion, this one will do the job. It's so beautiful and I really do enjoy these bronzers that have a little bit more of a rose undertone, like almost like a pink undertone, you know, because this will look so natural on my skin. It's such a nice formula as well. It does not look patchy. It goes on like buttery smooth, and I really do adore it, okay? It's just fantastic. So let's bronze up my face with this amazing bronzer. It looks so natural. It looks so smooth. It blends out like literally like creamy butter, you know. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I really do love the shade. The shade is what makes me reach for this a ton. This also works beautifully on my nose. I just think this is the best sort of under $20 bronzer that I've ever tried. And it's one of my favorite bronzers of all time because of the shade and because of this formula. But all right, my bronzer is applied now, so let's actually move on to the blush. And with the blushes, for some bizarre reason, I was kind of struggling. And the very first one that I wanted to show you guys is actually discontinued. And this is the Pacifica Cherry Cheeks Powders Palette. This one unfortunately got discontinued, and I really enjoyed this one. I really do love it. So because the Pacifica blushes are no longer, I pulled out two other blushes, but they are on the verge of like $20. One of them is $20 and the other one is $19.30, so it's really like limit. The first option is by PYT Beauty, and it's the Hot Flush blush, and this retails for $20. And I also have the Gabriel Cosmetics powder blush, and this one retails for $19.30. Now, I've recently actually used this blush by Gabriel Cosmetics in one of my recent videos where I did shop my stash about products that I've completely forgot about, and this one was included in that video. And then I also have the PYT one. They have recently changed their packaging, so I've got an older packaging here in the shade Exhale. That shade Exhale is very bright, so I might do a little bit of a combination of both of these. But my favorite shade by PYT got discontinued, and that was actually the shade Hustle. And I've got a very old packaging here. They have like revamped their packaging probably like 3 times by now. This was the very first edition of their packaging. This was my very favorite shade by them, and it's no longer available. So I cannot even put this one on, although I would love to, because this is still one of these blushes that I really do adore by the brand, and I also still use this blush. But let's actually go in with that Gabriel Cosmetics one, and then let's put the shade Exhale a little bit on the apples of my cheeks. And this formula by Gabriel Cosmetics is really beautiful. It's actually quite pigmented, but this looks very diffused on the skin, and I really do enjoy this product. I think I forgot to mention this shade. This is the shade Rose, and it's so beautiful. I mean, it is pigmented, but you can definitely build this one up, and it looks so diffused on the skin. So let's use this shade. And this shade, it's like really light. It's like a pale sort of like pink shade, but it's actually really stunning because it's quite cool toned. On the skin, it gives you that stunning sort of like almost sort of like lilac look that I really do like. So I do kind of like this combination a lot. That has completely changed the color now, and I do love this. This combination is fantastic. If you went in with a blush that is way too warm toned and you want to cool it down a notch, this will do that. So let's actually continue with a highlighter. So this is by LYS Beauty, and this is the Aim High Pressed Highlighter Powder, and this retails for $19. LYS Beauty is actually a very interesting brand. Now, I do have their setting powder, I also have their bronzer and their blush, but my favorite product by them is this pressed highlighter. First off, this triangle packaging, this is so stunning. This highlighter also comes in 3 different shades. I've got the shade Genuine, which is a rose gold. This is giving you some beautiful reflect on the skin. It's not over the top glittery. It's gonna give you like a really nice like wet looking glow. And I love the shade. The shade is really stunning. It's described as a rose gold. They also have one that is more champagne, although that one actually looks like a golden sort of highlighter. And then they also have a bronze one for deeper skin tones. So let's actually put this one on. It's really reflective. And, you know, it's not over the top beaming. You can definitely build this one up. But I have to say, I really love it. I love the glow. I love the reflect it gives me. And I also really like this shade. this really does beat a lot of high-end highlighters that are like $40, for example. So in that sense, I really, really love it. I love the shade. I love the reflect. I love the glow. So let's actually move on to the next category, and let's move on to the eyes. So first off, let's fill in my brows with a pencil, and I'm going to be using the NYX brow pencil, and this one retails for $11. So I've got this in the shade Ash Brown. It's a good shade match. I also like the spoolie because this spoolie is not over the top like scratchy. It's actually really good. So this shape is actually almost like a flattened out sort of oval shape, and it reminds me a lot of my Lawless eyebrow pencil. That one I really do enjoy as well. So let me fill in my brows real quick, but it gives off a lot of pigment, so I feel like this one is definitely the best that I've tried out from the drugstore thus far. It does an amazing job. It's easy to brush through with the spoolie without removing the eyebrow pencil, you know. That was my biggest issue with Wet n Wild. I felt like the pigment did not stick to my skin necessarily, and with this one it actually does. So in that sense, this is actually a really good one for $11. That's really fantastic because I use an eyebrow pencil like every day. All right, so let's do the other side as well, but you can see how well this pigment is actually sticking to my skin. And then I don't really have a drugstore eyebrow gel. I really don't. So I have to cheat here a little bit, and I have to use my Kosas Airbrow. I don't think I'm up for the challenge to find a good eyebrow gel from the drugstore, because this is always the only one that I'm going to be using. I just don't have one from the drugstore. I really don't. I'm not sure how much this costs. I think this retails for around $22. So it's a little bit over the limit, but it's just worth every cent. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna apply this one because I just really don't have one, okay? All right, so my Kosas eyebrow gel is applied. I mean, my brows are definitely back. They are alive again. So let's actually continue with an eyeshadow palette. And I do have a couple of eyeshadow palettes that I really do love that are a little bit more affordable. But this one is very affordable, and it's really beautiful and stunning. And this is also one that I recently picked up. So this is by Makeup Academy, and it's their Illusionist palette, and this one retails for £6. So this is actually a brand from the UK. This comes with 15 different shades, and this is such a beautiful palette. This is completely up my alley because you guys may know I do love cool tones, and this palette really immediately spoke to me. And I've got a bunch of other palettes as well. I do have 2 more palettes by them. I've got their Metamorphosis palette, which is their newest palette, I think, the one with the pastels. I actually did upload one short video with a look that I created with that palette, and I also have their Velvet Nudes palette. But this Illusionist one, for some whatever reason, really spoke to me, just because it's like all cool toned, and I knew this would be like an eyeshadow palette that I would get some use out of. And I just love grays. I love anything cool toned. I really do enjoy it. So this one was like a no-brainer for me. So on the website they are saying 15 highly pigmented smoky purple and blue toned matte and shimmer foil eyeshadow shades specifically selected to create a multitude of mesmerizing eye looks. Housed inside our new Look and Feel palettes made from recycled plastics, containing new and improved silky and blendable textures. This is quite an amazing formula considering the price point. So the one con with this formula in particular by Makeup Academy is the fact that these don't wear that great. Now the mattes did not fade on me, but the shimmers started like creasing a little bit on my eyelids. It's not a biggie. I feel like for the price point, this is probably the best eyeshadow formula you could get. They did put the shade names on the back, so if you think those don't have shade names, they are on the back of the palette, and they are also on their website. We shall see what I'm gonna come up with. I'm gonna try and do something I've never done with this palette. So I'm going to start off this look with the shade Aura. this sort of like cool toned muted pink shade right here. So I'm gonna just go a little bit all over above my crease and blend this one out, and then we're gonna continue with a different shade. So that pink shade, honestly, on my eyes, it almost looks like more of a lavender shade, you know. It does not really look that pink at all. It's very cool toned. These look like very diffused on the lids, and I really do love that. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. What's the shade called? What's your sign? Think they mean zodiac sign. So let's use this shade, and I'm just gonna focus that a little bit more on the outer crease. So I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Spellbound, this one right here. So let's deepen up the outer edges. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Dust, this very light shade, just to brighten up like my sort of inner portion of my eye just a little bit. Just gonna put this like a little bit around here just to open up the inner corner slightly. So let's actually continue, and let's use one of my favorite eyeliners of all time. I constantly use these eyeliners because they're just fantastic. And as you may know, I always just put my eyeliner into my waterline, and I need something that sticks and that holds, you know, the pigment in there, because I do have quite watery eyes. So this is one of my favorite eye pencil formulas in the world. So this is the Pacifica Beauty Vegan Longwear Eyeliner, and this one retails for $11. So I have these eyeliners in so many shades. As you can see, I've got quite a lot. I've got a lilac shade, I've got like a blue shade, a minty shade, I've got a black one, and like a creamy white one. Should we use something fun? Like, let's just use maybe the lilac? Why not? Let's do a pop of color in my waterline. So I'm gonna use the lilac one. I really do love these eyeliners. They are so fantastic. And I really do love the fact that Pacifica did release these fun shades with this formula. I am using these eye pencils since 2014. So almost 10 years. Time is flying. But it's been almost 10 years since I'm using this formula, and I'm still loving it. I loved it the very first time I've tried this out, and this looks really pretty. So let's actually do something with my lower lash line. So first I'm gonna go in with the shade Aura, and then I'm gonna use the shade Spellbound just to deepen up, you know, the outer edges of my lower lash line. So my lower lash line is done. I also cleaned up the edges a little bit with the NYX concealer. So let's continue with this look. And I think I do want to do a combination of two shades when it comes to the shimmery formula here. I'm going to go in with this shade right here. That is the shade, let me just have a look, Velvet, this shade. On the website, they're actually saying to pick those up with your finger and then blend it out with a brush. I always do it that way, okay? And these are so smooth. They are so, like, soft to the touch. This is more like a satin sort of metallic finish. This one, and that one, they are definitely more like foiled and super shimmery. So I'm just going to use this a little bit towards the outer edge of my lid. That is definitely more of a satin sort of finish. However, I feel like these look super like glossy, almost like wet looking. It is a little bit deep though, I've got to say it's very deep. So it's not a biggie because I'm gonna like brighten all of this up right now. And I think I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is the shade Charm. This is like more of a silver sort of green in it, and I think this is gonna look stunning. So I'm just gonna put that all over. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna look amazing. So I do want to go into my inner corner with the shade Moon Gaze, this one right here, just to accentuate my inner corners slightly. So just one piece of advice, because I did go with my brush now into this shade, but if you do that, it's not very, like, you can't really pick it up that well, because this is quite a putty sort of formula. So if you push this, you know, you're gonna get a little bit of an indentment because this texture is just very putty. This look is stunning. Like, I love it. I could have done like more of a blue sort of look with this palette as well. Like, you could go like all gray. You could just use like all of the blues. I did a little bit more purple combined with gray. And I've got to say, I freaking love it. I really do enjoy a good cool toned look. I mean, if you don't like cool tones, they also have this formula in other color stories, so just go and check them out because they are really, really good. I really love these eyeshadow palettes. So let's actually move on to a mascara that I love that is also quite affordable. So this is by Honest Beauty, and it's the Extreme Length Mascara and Lash Primer, and this one retails for $18. So I did face the exact same challenge as I did with the blushes when it came to the mascaras. For some whatever reason, I don't have a lot of like drugstore mascaras. I also really do enjoy the ones by Pacifica, but I think I do prefer the Honest Beauty mascara a little bit over the ones by Pacifica. This is actually amazing. Like, I never use this lash primer, okay? This lash primer is not doing anything for me. This is what confuses me, because this is where the brush is and this is actually the mascara, okay? So that is just a little bit bizarre, and it's just the packaging which annoys me slightly. What I do enjoy about this mascara is the fact that it's very lengthening. It's a really good mascara. It also does not smudge, it does not crumble off, it does not flake off, it does not give me any raccoon eyes. So in that sense, this is quite bulletproof in terms of formula. So I'm going to curl my lashes and then apply it. And also over time, I did repurchase this mascara because it's just so good. I really love it. Also, please do let me know if you have any recommendations for a mascara that is a little bit more affordable, because this is $18, so it's not super cheap. But all right, my eye look is done, so let's move on to the last category. Let's move on to the lips. And I kind of want to use a lip liner and a lipstick, so let's actually start off with the lip liner first. So this is by Tower 28, and it's the one lip liner, and this retails for $15. So Tower 28 is actually claiming that this is a multi-use pencil. Now, I would not really suggest that, because you don't want to go onto your lips with something that you are using in your eyes. It's not really hygienic to do that, and I never do that. So I feel like these pencils are the best for my lips, so I only use them on my lips. And I've got this in the shade Work of Art, and this is my favorite shade. I have like their brown shade as well. I think that one is a little bit too deep, but this one is just so beautiful for your lips. It's like a cool toned mauvey beige shade, and I really love it. So I'm gonna apply this, and then I'm gonna use one of my favorite sort of affordable lipsticks on top of this. The shade Work of Art, I'm obsessed. I really do enjoy this one. So this is the Catrice Cosmetics Clean ID Ultra High Shine Lipstick, and this retails for approximately $6. So this is the only shade out of their line that I love, because it's just the best one. It's the shade 030, and it's called Make It Nuder. And this is unlike any other lipstick I have. It is so stunning. I'm using this so much. It's such a beautiful, cool toned, beigey, sort of almost lavender rose shade. It's just, honestly, it's beautiful, and I know it's gonna match this look so well. So I'm gonna stop talking and apply it. So I've got to say, I use this so much, and I love the shade. It's such a unique, beautiful cool toned shade, and you guys may know by now how much I love cool toned stuff. And this is definitely no exception. I really forgot to say this is one of my all-time favorite lipsticks ever. It is so nice on the lips. It's actually quite hydrating as well. Is it high shine? Yeah, it's definitely a little bit shinier. Usually I do prefer a little bit more of a satin sort of matte lip, but this one is not like greasy or oily so that it would slip around. That's what I don't like. This one has so much pigment. I love the formula, I love the shade, I love everything about this lipstick. Alright you guys, so this is my finished look, and I really would be curious to know if you guys have any like favorite affordable / drugstore makeup, you know, that you would love to share with me down below in the comments. You guys know I'm always really intrigued to know what you guys are using, what works for you. Have you actually tried out any of the products that I featured in today's video? Do let me know. And also do let me know if you want a counterpart video of this. You know, do you want like a luxury makeup? Like what luxury products would be worth the coin? Let me know, because you guys know I'm here to make content that you guys like. And if you did enjoy this video today, why not give it a thumbs up? Also, in case you made it that far and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, just hit the button down below. I would be really appreciative of that, and don't forget to ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And until next time, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.